Hi parents, welcome to part 2 of this video about discipline. So we've already been through step 1. You're already, have helped your child regulate the big feeling they're feeling. You checked in with yourself and made sure that you're feeling regulated and you're ready to move on to step 2. So 2 is relate. So this is a time when you can really try to understand what's going on with your kiddo. And you can give them some words for what they might be feeling. If you see them stomping around and yelling, you might say, hey, it looks like you are really angry right now about what happened. Or, if you see them looking worried or scared, say, hey, but you look really worried about, what's going on. Tell me about it. So this is the time when you can give your kiddo the space to kind of share what was going on with them. Maybe they didn't want to put their shoes in the closet because they were afraid there was a monster in there. You have really no idea kind of what was going on. So during this time, ask questions like, what was happening? What made you feel that way? What was going on, bud? Avoid questions like, why did you do that? Why would you think that's a good idea? Kind of at all costs, avoid the question why. If you need to ask a why question, you can do it. Just kind of rephrase it in a creative way. What made you feel like doing that instead of, why did you do that? So during step 2, really make sure that you're really trying to understand things from your kiddo's perspective. You may have seen everything that happened and know exactly what happened, but in your kiddo's brain, it might have all looked different. So you really want to understand what it looked like to them. And this approach is really based on connection over correction. So once you feel like you and your kiddo are reconnected, then you can move on to step 3. Step 3 is reason. This is probably the step you usually start with when you think about disciplining your kiddo. The problem is if we skip step 1 and 2, then you and your kiddo are both still dysregulated, y'all are feeling disconnected, your kiddo's having all these big emotions, and they're just not really going to be able to reason with you. They're not going to be able to understand the lesson you're trying to teach them, so you want to make sure you go through step 1 and 2 before you get to reason. During the reasoning stage, you get to set limits with your kiddo, set boundaries. You get to let them know what behavior wasn't allowed or wasn't safe and why. You also get to help your kiddo problem solve. If they were doing something that wasn't okay, what else could they do? Oftentimes we want to tell kids, don't do that, or how you're supposed to behave, and well, they might not know what they're supposed to be doing, and they might not know what else to do with all that energy they have, or whatever feeling they're feeling at that moment. For example, if your kiddo's in the grocery store and they have so much energy and they start running around the grocery store, well, that's not okay, right? Because it's not safe. You can't keep an eye on them. But they still have all this energy. You can't just tell them, don't run around the store, because then they're sitting there with all this bottled up energy. Help your kiddo problem solve. Hey, bud, we can't run through this store right now because it's not safe. It looks like you have a ton of energy. What else could we do with it? They might say, I could jump up and down, and maybe that's okay with you. Or they might say, I could help you carry the groceries, and that'd be awesome. If they can't think of something, maybe give them some options so they still feel like they have a little control in the situation. The reason for doing this really is the more we allow our kiddos to problem solve for themselves, the better problem solvers they're going to be. If we're always telling them exactly what to do and how to do it, we're always kind of, solving these problems for them ourselves, they're really not going to know how to do that. So this is going to help you in the long reasoning stage as much as possible to be sure to use, logical consequences. If your child has thrown something on the ground or, spilled something, the logical consequences, you have to clean that up now. You never want your response, your reaction to what they did to be the consequence. So as much as possible, try to use whatever logical consequences are available. If they're being mean to their sister, well, their sister might not want to play with them. Maybe she'll go get to play something more fun while they don't really get to play with anybody. You want to make sure through all of this that your reaction isn't, the thing that's scaring your kiddo. Okay, parents, so remember our steps. Step 1 is regulate. You have to check in with yourself and check in with your kiddo. Make sure that both of you guys are able to handle those big feelings that you're having. Step 2 is relate. Really try to understand, what was going on from your kiddo's perspective, and try to reconnect with them during that stage. Step 3 is reason. So, set those limits, help your child problem solve, and remember that discipline is, one of the most loving things you can do for your kiddo. It shouldn't be something that makes you guys feel disconnected. It's an opportunity for connection, for you, you know, to share some lesson with them that's going to help them in the long run, and, you know, for you to better understand them too. So remember that this is about connection. You know, it's not about, you know, revenge, or it's not about, you know, teaching them a lesson. It's about connection between you and your kiddo. It's a moment that you can use to, you know, get closer to your kiddo and better understand each other. So please guys, let me know, you know, what your thoughts are about discipline. You know, if you guys try this, let me know how it went. Subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss new videos.